As it stands right now this afternoon, the nation's 425,000 rail workers will be idle as of midnight tonight. All efforts at negotiations thus far have failed. The union says they will strike at midnight tonight, even if the leaders of the union have to go to jail. Congress is trying to get another delay of between 45 and 90 days. The president has asked for 45 days. The union says, well, we could postpone it, but you'll have to give us a pay hike in the interim. Congress says, no, we can't do that. That was where it stood this afternoon. We talked to a couple of union members, Mr. James McNeely and Mr. A.B. Smith, about their feelings of a strike here at Christmas time.
I believe we'll come out on it.
Well, Union President C.L. Dennis says that he'll go to jail before he will take a Congress-imposed delay without higher salaries. There are going to be a lot of people affected, monetarily and otherwise, and it's the Christmas season. Think about the Christmas cards and packages that may be delayed. First-class mail won't be delayed, but many others will be. There was a news conference at the post office this afternoon with the regional director of the Dallas district, Mr. William L. Crawford. He told Carl Mayo and other reporters about the situation. Someone else is crying, too. Remember that General Motors strike that we just settled? You know, they're back in production. Guess how they ship those new cars to their destinations? You're right. They can't exist more than a few days without rail service. Well, let's find out the very latest now on the negotiations.
A pilot program on drug abuse and teacher tenure are the main topics to be discussed tonight when the Fort Worth School Board meets in regular session. The drug abuse program is proposed as a combined effort of the students of 2 Fort Worth high schools and the City Drug Abuse Prevention Division. The director of the division, Dr. June Garrett, explained how the program, Youth to Youth, will function.
This is based on using young people and training high school students to talk to younger students to help to influence the way they feel about drugs in an attempt to build up a drug barrier. This deals mostly with changing the attitudes of young people and letting them know that it is not popular to use drugs anymore. This department's part in this will be to provide the in-service training and workshops for these students who have been selected by the school people. This will include field trips, going with us on talks, getting as many different types of looks at the drug scene as possible in this area.
Second reading on continuing contracts for teachers is also on the agenda. If approved, the proposal states that teachers will be given a contract with no termination date following a 3-year probationary period. Under the present plan, teachers begin with a series of 4 one-year contracts, followed by 1 3-year contract, and then 5-year contracts throughout the duration of their teaching career. Jerry Park, Channel 8 News on the Move, Fort Worth.
Tonight, the Board of Directors of Dallas Legal Services Project will reply to a charge from the Washington office that Director Ed Polk misused funds in giving legal aid to Brent Stein, former editor of the Dallas Notes. Stein had declared himself a voluntary pauper, but later examination indicated he may not have been eligible for aid. Board Chairman Ron Kessler refused to give details of the reply in advance of tonight's meeting, but he feels that the Stein incident itself should be forgotten and that a new policy procedure be outlined to avoid future questions. Also being considered tonight will be a new budget and an application for funding for the next fiscal year beginning March 1st. However, administrative changes in Washington and severe local attacks on legal services projects could mean difficulty in getting funds for next year. Kessler said he feels there will be no problem. This is Ron McDonald, Channel 8 News on the Move.
I have no known reason, absolutely no reason whatsoever, other than that I have heard there was rumored dissension in the fire department. This was told to me by our public safety director. I have asked what this was, where it was, when it was, and by whom, and I have yet to find out an answer.
Some people say that you were consulted beforehand and told of the firing. Is this true?
This is totally untrue. I was in Wichita Falls at a funeral at the time that this all took place. When I returned Thursday afternoon from Wichita Falls, I was contacted and given the information that the city council had acted while I was out of town and that these men were dismissed. And this was the first news that I had of it.
Do you have enough firemen left to protect you against a major fire?
At the present time, I do not.
What would happen if an airplane were to crash into one of these buildings out here?
We're in trouble. We've got a major conflagration. That's all there is to it. And there's going to be a lot of lives and property lost because we can't handle it. Of course, we're going to have help.
I think it would affect them a whole lot because, you know, of Christmas and everything. Of course, I'm not married. It won't affect me as much, but I think it will affect the family men a lot more.
Do you feel the grievances are justified?
Yes, I do, because they've been negotiating now for a year and a half, and I feel that that this will be the only way that they'll be able to achieve anything.
Well, it'll be pretty rough right here Christmas time.
How do you think you'll make it?
Well, we'll make it.
The midnight strike, if it occurs, will compel the Postmaster General to call an embargo at 4 p.m. today on all second, third, and fourth class mail destined for delivery to places more than 300 miles from the point of mailing. Air mail, first class mail, partial post, PAL mail, that's for overseas, space available mail overseas, SAM, are not affected by this embargo. Those classes of mail will be accepted in the usual manner at all post offices. As director of the Dallas region, composed of Texas-Louisiana, I am allowed to change the embargo as far as it affects the states in the near vicinity. This is because of truck transportation that we're serving these states from, and there's no rail involved.
The water stands in many places there on their playground. The children don't have a place to put their books in their lockers there. They still have the old heaters that were put in when the school was built. The commodes in the bathrooms are held up by baling wire, and the bathrooms smell, they stink, they're in bad condition. The water fountains don't work half the time. The sick room is used more for a storage room than a sick room there. They store these other equipments there that they keep there. They don't have, there's no participating sports there. They don't have any grounds. They don't have the facilities for them. Now, briefly, the people feel, and I agree with them, that there's not another area that is without facilities more than this area is here.
The concept of regionalism is spreading in Texas, and as it spreads, it's concerned with more and more phases of social planning. About a year ago, the North Central Texas Council of Governments started trying to form a regional health care program. Today, the first real step is being taken. Representatives are attending a seminar in Arlington on community health care. The principal speaker is Dr. Lee Holder, a public health educator from the University of North Carolina. I asked him about obstacles in the path of regional health care.
I believe there are several obstacles. One has been the tradition of the way health services have been organized in this country. Many agencies and groups have had intense concerns and have drawn up agencies and so forth, something to do about them.
Another speaker at the seminar, Dempsey Taylor, is with the Lubbock Health Department. He says that there's a trend toward regionalism in Texas health care.
Yes, according to the interest of the State Health Department in the program that we have implemented in the Lubbock area, I can definitely see a trend toward the State Department looking into this procedure further in the future, in the near future.
The seminar today is only a first step. How fast the area moves toward regional health care depends on the Council of Governments and the people of North Texas. Jay Lewis, Channel 8 News on the Move, Arlington.